Okay, so welcome to our online meeting. Thank you very much for joining us. We will introduce our organization, our vision, what we have done so far. Then Jana will talk about our dreamland in Lagodegi that we found and how you can join and so what kind of support we need, how to become residents for whom is interested and have time for discussions and questions and answers. We started out as an initiative group with a common vision to plan and establish a sustainable, diverse living community for around 10 or 30 households. And it will be the first intentional community in the South Caucasus. There will be residential part and people actually living there. Like our core group, we all plan to move there in the coming months or years. It will feature a community area and gardens, a workshop space. It will have small social businesses, both like run by the residents and run by the community. Some of us have children and all of us value lifelong and open learning for young and old. So we will have a learning space, both for children and adults. We all value sustainability to actually regenerate the nature around us and globally to work on solutions for the several crises we are facing at the moment, including the climate crisis and social crises, environmental biodiversity. And we want to look for methods how we can address it and make things better as an alternative to the current system we are living in. We also value community, trustful surroundings, social surroundings, where we can, as humans, grow as in our full potentials, develop ourselves, and constantly learn with and from each other. How will that practically work? So we found the land, and it will be collectively owned by the NGO Reimagine 4. We already have established that a couple of months ago. And we initially, when we started out 5 years ago, we thought each of us will earn a part of the land and we will just live together. But when developing our vision, we understood that doesn't work. And it's also not a common practice in other eco-villages. As a community, we want to have some control who comes in and out to make sure that the values on which the community is established are maintained. Each inhabitant will have a membership loaned to the NGO, and it will give a benefit to use the land up to 500 square meter. And there, each one of us can build a house, put a yurt, make small business, whatever we want to do, to have a private space. And yeah, we have to invest there, and this will be we have the right to use that. Plus, within the loan, there's also the access to the rest of the community area. So the residential area with the little plots of 500 square meters will take up around 1 to 2 hectares, and the rest will be maintained and enjoyed by all of us, including the gardens and wild areas, river, and so on. Yeah, I already mentioned everyone can build their house. There will be certain building standards. It should be environmental friendly, fit in somehow also visually to be optically an attractive community. Where possible, from natural materials. We're thinking a lot about straw bale buildings or recycled materials. Also, it will be possible to run social businesses. I mean, everyone, will have to sustain themselves, and of course, we need to make money. And those enterprises can be in private ownership, but still, again, aligned to the values of the community. So we will not have, for example, big cattle breedings, but there can be sustainable tourism or other not harmful businesses. Community, we will be responsible for developing the infrastructure and maintenance of it through the inhabitant loans and the communal social enterprises. So we will have to put water, canalization, and electricity, and all this kind of infrastructure. And our vision is built on co-creating, co-living, co-working, regenerative ecology and sustainability. So it's health, both mental health and physical health, and health of the planet, non-violence in everything what we do, lifelong learning, social justice. It's again, it has a political aspect as well. Love is probably the most important one for everyone and everything, including our planet. Tolerance and honesty. What and of course commitment, which we have shown over the last 2 months really to set up all this. I want to go a bit deeper into the non-hierarchical parts. We are trying to make decisions based on consent, so it's not even like the 50-50 voting. It's called sociocracy. It's an international system of governments. And you basically talk until you have some kind of consent. It's designed to facilitate group work, and it helps to honor everybody's voice. It works in working groups, so not everyone has to take every decision together. That would not work, of course. And yeah, we are learning a lot about it and developing this. We will be developing this system together once we are on the land. A bit more about our community center. I mentioned it at the beginning. It will be used for community buildings. We can have we eat together there and be a social space. It will host small-scale social businesses. It can be also rented out to outsiders. We want to have a tool sharing. It's not necessary everyone to buy a tractor, for example, and a library for games, a yoga space, and everyone like who has ideas can plan activities in this community center. It's planned as the heart of the Ecovillage, and to socialize, work, co-work, learn, eat, and yeah, also invite people from outside to connect with us and to learn from each other. So we have been working on this vision for over 5 years. It's been a fantastic, super interesting process, and we all grew together. And now really it's time to implement it. I would like to hand over to Jana, who will tell you more about the land. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Anna, for this beautiful introduction. As we already heard the last few minutes, there was a lot of work happening through many years, who was more like intern of the group, but to going really outside with all our values, with all our vision, came into rolling by finding a spot in Lagodechi, Ninigori, what does not only felt like really our plot of dreams, and like wonderful, but also what combined all the criteria what we are really in need for when we want to settle as a community. So for example, in many spots we visited before, because we had a lot of land visits already, but it was always like a little bit of this is maybe a little problematic. Oh, this is a long road just to build a way to the plot. But in Ninigori, in our dream spot, what we envision to settle, it is like in many ways given. So it is possible for us just to get active on the spot. We maybe we can switch to the next slide that it can get a little bit more visible. We are interested in a spot what is around about 6.5 hectares. It is really nearby the village of Ninigori, and good connected to Lago Dechi, but still has a lot of privacy. So if you are on the spot, you don't really feel like you're close to the neighborhood, but actually you are. So there is an opportunity for privacy. We have an open space to one side, but on the other side, we are connected to the village, to the infrastructure. For example, as I told, the way was often a problem. And in this part, we just can enter it directly from the main road. So it's very easy to start building on the land. As you see, it has this really beautiful old farm building, what we envision to create as, for example, our community center, what we can use directly to live in a way when we start building. But it has still a lot of opportunities to use the different areas this land offers us. So for example, as you can see in the second picture down below, there are a lot of nut trees. So it has a really high variety of different greens, of herbs, of vegetables, of fruits. But still, yeah, we can create our own garden, our own our own permaculture garden, and we are free to just use what we already get from this land. And on the other hand, we have a lot of space to create with our own ideas. So it's really nice that the land spot is interesting. It doesn't have just a flat ground of desert. It already has some really nice parts, like we have the building, what is really at the beginning, but when you go further ahead, there is a place what really invites to create a community garden. It is connected with some little forest parts and is like like not surrounded, but it is lined by a river who already also gives us opportunity to use water directly from there. So there is not really a water problem as well, what is not so easy to find. So it just, yeah, it got, the land got us with his beauty, but also with all its benefits. So for example, as you can read, the infrastructure is mainly working. We can have easy access to gas, electricity, and water. The irrigation system in the garden is already a little bit, yeah, a little bit explored, but we can just regenerate it. It has access to nearby shops and connection to the village, what is also nice for children who need or who want to go to school, and maybe until we get our own democratic school, we can just give the opportunity to children also to reach the public school system. Uh, Also, a benefit for our situation is that Lago Dechi area is in general a very nice visited place by tourists. So a lot of people are coming and going. It is really, it invites people to visit. So we also have the chance to get a lot of guests on our land, and to include a lot of people who just want to get in touch with us. It's easy reachable from Tbilisi by a really good system of marshutkas, and also the road is nice. It's nearly till the plot, great access by asphalt road. The soil is very fertile, and you can find a huge variety of different herbs, teas, fruits, vegetables, as I told. Like you can find kiwis there, but on the other hand, even some banana trees, a watermelon is growing, but also like the vegetables we use in daily, like cucumbers, tomatoes. So it has really a great ground. And also the climate of this area is really like giving us a lot of benefits, because it's not too hot, not too cold. It's quite like a kind of subtropical climate, but not so humid, like for example in the area around the Black Sea, where you have a lot of humidity. In Lagodeci area, it's more like a lot of fresh air from the mountains, but on the other hand, it gets quite warm. So things are growing very well, and also for humans, it's very nice to live there. Yeah, so what you can see in the presentation is, for example, now a picture from another angle. So you can see there's the building, there are some garden beginnings already, but also what we can find is like more the water area. There is a huge water pool, what we can cultivate as opportunities even to swim maybe. There is, as you see, the river part, but it is not so big that it can be really dangerous for flood or something. So the whole plot in general is on a very good position, so that it is like kind of secured, but not in danger of the weather circumstances. Yeah, I think this is like the main things you should know about the plot. Here you have some examples like the building again, the water area, but also you see some impressions of the forest part. It's not a really big forest like we maybe know it from somewhere in the in the deep forest parts, but it's a really nice and shady and beautiful forest. I think most of all, I always forget the name of these trees. Can anyone help me again?
Acacia?
Acacia. Yes, acacia. Yeah, as I told, like there is this building what has a lot of potential for us to use from the beginning at first to live while we purchased the land, but also later as our community center. It's already partly sealed and isolated. There is another water reservoir and a lot of open space to use. So we have many ideas, and maybe people join us with more ideas as well. Maybe it will get also a part of a guest house, a cafe, maybe a place to have seminars, to have dance evenings or whatever. It's quite big, like it's 1,000 square meters roundabout, and has a small garden part in the back, as you see in the picture as well. So it's really the heart center of this property. I don't know if there's more what I haven't. No, I think we can switch to the land visit. We have a little online land visit. I hope it works well. So you just can see like a short walk across the land. Like there you see the walnut trees, later the forest part. It's a lot of wilderness, but on the other hand, not too much as well that we can't enter. Now I guess slowly we walk to the river part, what is on the back side, where you can see on the tree line. Yeah, it's quite big enough, but it since we figured out that there are some open spaces around of this land part, maybe even if we need to expand later, if we need more space, there is an opportunity to buy a land around to just expand. Yeah, I think that's all from my side. If anyone wants to add something, feel welcome. Otherwise, I would just pass it to Nini for some
Thank you.
further information.
Thank you, Jana and Dana. Okay, so these are the beautiful charters what Sam made it for us. Sam is a very talented, I would say, builder. Maybe also later he can also add something if I'm gonna miss, because there had been a lot of ideas. Okay, what kind of houses would you like to have there? And people were like asking, okay, what kind of houses I can build or I'm allowed to build. So what we come up so far is this is this construction charter what Sam created, and which actually gives the general guidance of how the house is kind of built and how the existing buildings going to be renovated on the land. So there's like this part of waste management, of course, that we want to try to recycle all the materials which are already actually given on the land, because they're, you might have seen on the on the photos that there are like a couple of ruins also of a lot of stones, for example, which can be reused. So we want to try to reduce our impact on the land and on the earth in general. So that's kind of the main purpose. And we want to use the renewable energies, of course, which consists of sorry, the solar panels and also wind, and we might be also use it might be also possible to use the water energy, but I think that's also something to plan. And plus energy efficiency in terms of installation, and of course like passive solar, passive heating of the houses and so on. We can move to the next slide, where you can actually, yeah, thank you. No, this, yeah. So here you can see like really well that which kind of, how the percentages can be actually split in between. So we don't want to use any kind of toxic materials, but for example, Sam is recommending, and also many other people, that we might be still, how to say, we might be still obliged to use some parts, but only like up to 20% of the materials, like it might be even beton, but it can be just like, it needs to be regulated. But the rest, so the majority of it needs to be reusable materials. It can be also straw, the wood, the clay and the lime, and yeah, all these other materials. And also in Lagotechi, it is possible to build like straw bale houses, and Caxeti region normally produces a lot of wheat. And yeah, I think this is like more the direction we would like to go. And yeah, I mean, also because for us, like Ecovillage is directly connected to what kind of setting it has, like architecturally. So even common places, like you saw this huge building, which we want to renovate in terms to make it like more natural building out of it. I'm not sure exactly, I can tell you exactly like how it's going to look like in the future, but we want to work on it to make it like as natural as possible, basically. And now I would like to talk a little bit more about the how you can join us. So basically, as Anna already mentioned, but let's go deeper to what does it mean to be a resident. So when you want to become a part of the Ecovillage, it means that you can join in different ways. So one is to be a resident, and for the resident, we would like to ask people to be at least majority of the time there, because being a resident comes also with some specific responsibilities, which can be contributing for the community. It can be the working hours, even online, or it can be working in the garden, or making a workshop for kids, or do some activity and so on. And so it's like we consider that this 5,000 share, which is it's kind of, this is like a first investment, let's say. And share in this case, what we mean again, it's a loan. So it's a loan legally from your side as a physical and natural person to the NPO. NPO is like a non-profit organization, which we already have and which already had been mentioned. And in a way, this money, what you are giving as a loan, is secured, because all this amount of different loans from the residents and also non-residents, people who are just giving us money as a friends, but not as the residents, this money gathers together. So this 150,000, and with this money, we are purchasing the land, which belongs to NPO. There is no private property of the land. The whole land, what you're going to live on, work on anything, it's not going to be in your partnership. It's going to be on NPO's ownership. Sorry, it's going to be on NPO's ownership. And what does it mean? So what kind of benefits you have is that you have 500 square meter on that specific part of the land. You can build your own house, but based on some criteria. So the criteria and the guidelines, what was mentioned also in the charter, and also which will be adopted a bit later. And plus, you're going to have an access to the rest of the land, which belongs to the community and to the NPO and to everybody, basically. It can be the community house, the gardens and fruit gardens and fruit forest and river and so on. And for leaving if you want to leave the project, so if you decide that it doesn't work for you, or you want to move out and so on, this is also possible, but it just takes from 6 months to 12 months to leave the project, because in this extent of time, we need to be able to find a new resident to come in and bring the money, and then you're going to take this money out. So yeah, we can also talk in the details in Q&A. Yes, and we prefer that people who are coming and living there have a probation period and working with us and staying and see if it's going to really fit and how it is going. It's a decision which both sides kind of need to make. And you can also join as a volunteer, which can be a really fun and nice activity, because it's so many things to do with the Ecovillage. And there's like social media, there's negotiations, there is mailing, there is gardening, there is planning, so a lot of things are happening. So if you want to be a volunteer, we can move to the volunteer slide. Yeah, thank you. So basically, it's just like you can come and stay, and there are a lot of possibilities to kind of exchange the knowledge. And it can be kind of, you can also be an advisor. For example, if you don't want to work on the land, you can also come and support in a different way and also spread the word. Of course, this is very important for us right now. And yeah, I mean, we are also right now thinking how the volunteers can actually become the residents later, in that terms that if some people can't contribute this 5,000, for example, what can be the other alternative ways that people can basically pay with their work and stuff. But this is in the process right now. Yeah, we are just thinking about it, but we don't have a good system at the moment. Yes, and also we have loaners, right? We can move to the next slide. Yes, so right now, to be very, very honest, like we are really looking for the loaners. We are looking for the people who trust us that the project is going to work out. And we can offer many different things. Like one is, of course, the free participation on our events and also workshops and activities. And it can be online and offline and Lagotechi and so on. And also many exchanges which can happen. And yeah, also we will have workshops like wooden workshops and maybe even metal workshops, just some areas which can be also used also for the community and for the loaners. And with the organizations, we could, for example, say that you can give us some money, lend us some money, and instead, for example, in 1 year, you will have like a couple of days staying in a community house. So it's just based on each case, let's say, but they're like general offers, as you see here. And yes, another thing is like if we are talking about like larger term loans, which can be from 1 to 5 years, we could consider to give the interest rate from 0 to 2%. And this is really a big priority right now. And also, please, I would like to ask you if you know somebody who might be interested to support this project. This is like super important right now, because we would like to really get this land, and this is like quite harsh deadline for us, this 30 like end of November. So please reach out and like spread the word, or if you want to join, please like, yeah, express your desire as soon as possible. And yeah, of course, like later a lot of collaborations can happen between the loaners, and they can become the residents and so on. And what is the next slide? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I tried to. Yes. So we have, I think we even have 115,000. I'm not sure if this is fully updated here, but yeah, that's the situation right now. And to be honest, I'm super surprised, because like we've been working on this like really long time, but fundraising itself had been happening like 1.5 months. Yeah, up to 2 months, I would say. But we managed to mobilize this money. So we are trusted people. So yeah, because like we have connections, we have network, and we are super sure that if anything goes wrong, and majority of the people based on consent, if we decided that project is lost, then okay, we need to close it. What happens in that we liquidate the land and then get back all the loans. So yes, we have less than 2.5 weeks. It's yeah, sorry, there's no update in this presentation, all the parts, but
guys, and we don't have
yes, so
2.5 weeks to go. We have 1 week to go.
yeah,
It was
exactly
in the presentation, maybe not updated as well.
And just final quick outlook on the financial system. If you have questions how it's going to work, so as far as I explained so far, is that there is a pool of the loans, right? And these loans are three types of loans. Okay, one is the resident gives a loan, is this 5,000. One is the person who is not a resident but gives like higher money, like more than 5,000. And there's a smaller loans, which is like 500 and so on. So up to 5,000. And these three types of loans are gathered together, right, in this NPO's account as the one big sum. But if somebody goes out, we are finding a new person to bring in to kind of balance the money situation. As far as you saw in the presentation, we plan to have 30 households in some, like in total for a long term. And household means that it can be like 60, maybe 70, we don't know how many people, including kids and everything. So just to buy the land is like 30 shares, 30 loans, right? To make it very simple. But as soon as there will be more money gathered inside the financial circle, then this money also will help the maintenance of the project, because this money is not even able to go anywhere else, because NPO is the non-profit organization. It should not make any profit. It needs to invest all this income inside the project, inside the land. Yeah, and social businesses. Sorry, I totally forgot about it. So people will be able to run their own social businesses on the land. They will take the land on a lease, which means that if I have an idea to run a small eco-hostel on the land, it needs to be agreed first with the community. And if everything is clear, then I can come even with my LLC, which is this SHEP as a LLC, and I can make a leasing agreement and pay the lease to the NPO. And NPO will use this money for the own infrastructure and maintenance. Okay, I think I'm done with this slide. Yeah, and yeah, of course, like, yeah, there's our email and the social media addresses. And please also, I would like to ask you if you would like to be added on a mailing list. And if you are not there yet, please write us your emails and we're gonna add you in the newsletter. We now have actually weekly newsletter. And yeah, you can contact us anytime. We're working hard and checking everything what you write us. And yeah, I think that's it for now. And I can pass it back to Anna. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for presentations. And I think we can open the floor for any questions or comments, if anyone wants to say anything.
I had a question about the village, Ninigori. Are the residents there? Are they all on board with the project? Do they know about it? Are they enthusiastic? And what do they think about all of this?
Well, it has been decided together with the core group, and we have, within our fundraising period, gathered new residents. Some of them are here as well. So maybe it's best if maybe Bjarne or Mirja wants to answer this question.
Amelia is asking about local people in Ninigori.
Right? Okay.
The village, yeah.
Okay, sorry. So Nini, yes, that's.
I can explain. So basically the land is in between Ninigori and Gelati. And there's like a kind of this highway, the highway which leads to the main national park. And there's like small street which goes to the land. And there is, I wouldn't say we are inside like small village or something. It's basically in between the villages. And we have one neighbor, there's one lady next to us, and the owner of the land said that they are not really active, but land is like, how to say, like the shape of the land is like a bit like vertically stretched a little bit. And so when you go back, you don't really have anybody. It's just like in front next to the gate, there's one neighbor. No, people don't know, of course, because we don't have a land yet. I mean, we couldn't just go around and say, oh, we want to start the eco-village and stuff. But yeah, no, people don't know it yet, but we are looking forward to meet the people there.
Mm-hmm. Can I add something? I just want to say that not far from our land is also the village of Pona, and in Pona already exists another kind of living community. So it is not really connected with each other, but in general, like this area seems to be kind of a little bit open-minded, and it might not be completely plop out of nowhere for them. So of course, we as a project, we don't introduce ourselves, as Nini told, but it's not the first of this kind of things what happen in the whole area. So maybe some people already know about this other community.
I will add also that the owner himself was not very surprised when he heard about our project, and he also told us that just one lady who lives nearby, she would not have any problem. I think he actually said that, if you remember, guys, when we visited the land. But anyway, we don't have many neighbors.
And sorry, if you don't mind me going ahead, I had another question about funding for the project. You said you have a week left. I mean, so if you don't get the funds required to meet that deadline, is there a possibility of an extension? Or, I mean, you've clearly found the perfect plot of land and done so much work and raised a lot of the funds so far. So, you know, what's your vision if you don't get it? Sorry to ask, but I just, I'm sure you've kind of crossed that bridge maybe, or it's a week to go and there's still quite a bit to raise.
Yeah, very good question, very valid. Yeah, we hope we will raise some more money, but we're looking into taking a bank loan. It's like the plan C. We still hope some people will give us some short-term loans. So yeah, if anyone has any connections to support us, that would be great. We're also trying to activate our personal networks. We can also negotiate about the interest rates. Like we can go higher than the 2%, I think. In this situation, anything is better than a bank loan. And so, yeah, we can negotiate really the terms. So this is what we plan to do. But if that everything does not work, we are probably taking a mortgage.
Thank you. That's good to know. And just one more question I had was, on your website, you talk about a part-time residency, but you didn't mention it in your presentation. Is that something that isn't a possibility now? I mean, you're looking for full-time residents, as I understand. So I just wanted to, or is there a possibility of a bit of both? I mean, what your idea of part-time meant, and yeah.
Yeah, that's another good question. It came into our website, I think, in the frequently asked questions, because people were asking for it. And we also have organizations now joining us. And it was just, we did not think of people or organizations being interested, but I think we are quite flexible. This is a project that is created by its residents. So yeah, we already have part-time residents, and I think it's still a possibility, absolutely. It's just not something we would have thought about, and probably that's why it's not in the presentation. But I think many things can be negotiated.
Okay, thank you. That's very helpful.
I just want to quickly say to Fenia that, yeah, if that's okay, that it's going to be uploaded on our YouTube channel. And yeah, I think it's going to be shared later, the recording of the video.
I also have a question. Maybe I didn't understand you right, Nini, but did you say, is there a difference if you loan more or less than $5,000?
Sorry,
It sounded to
I didn't
me
understand exactly the question.
It sounded to me as you think you think, or you look at the loaners there are two different kind of loaners. One loaner gives up to $5,000, and another loaner gives more than $5,000. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe I misunderstood you.
I can name it. So it's basically three types of loaning right now. One is the residential loan, so person who gives the money for the benefit to live on the land, right?
Yeah.
The second one is the small loans without any interest rate.
Okay.
So it means that somebody gives us, I don't know, 500, 1,000 or something, basically up to 5,000 or something like that range. And plus there is one more loan which can be negotiated with the giving a loaner with the interest rate from 0 to 2%. Because the previous two are the 0% loans, zero interest rate loans, sorry.
Okay.
And if somebody gives us, for example, I know you want to.
And I think even higher interest rate is that if this is something someone would be interested in, it can also be negotiated for the bigger sums.
Another question, I think the question of Björn was maybe is if it's possible to accumulate different type of loan. I don't know if it's if it was the question, but what I understood.
I think at one point during the presentation, Nini just mentioned that some people are giving more than 5,000. And this is the case, for example, with Anna's mother. And I mean, if someone wants to give 10,000, for example, they can give this loan as well with the interest or without the interest, but it's going to be different contract than the contract with the resident loan.
Yeah, exactly. Did we answer your question, Bjarne?
Yes, that's very fine. Thank you.
But we're going to also edit this news kind of information in FAQ.
So everything else is clear, or maybe someone else has a question or wants to give their impression. What do you think about it? Are you interested in joining us?
Okay, I have a question. When can I visit you on this land? Because I'm near. So maybe you are planning on some workshops, or maybe I misheard about it and you already mentioned about this. So when?
Well, we hope. Nini, go for it. Okay, I can also answer. So we hope in the beginning of December we will buy it and we will have a party in the first weekend of December. That's the plan, but we'll be in touch, and so please write your email also in the chat, and we'll keep you up to date on Facebook and in the email list.
Okay, so I'm following you on social media, so I will aware about this. Okay.
Yeah, hopefully soon.
I had another question about dividing up the land for residents. How is that done? Is it a sort of drawing straws, or do you just, because I imagine, I mean, the lay of the land is, just different views and outlooks and closer to the community centre or nearer the road, or how do you envisage splitting it up to be fair, or is there a system, or is it a first come, first served, or is it, I don't know, how do you work that out?
Another great question. It's again a process. We have to decide together. So we have not yet any division or even approach. We will just go there, camp there, feel what places feel in what ways, and then hopefully with the residents, come to a solution that fits everyone. We are not bounded by any rules or restrictions. The only thing we see is that it's a community, and it will be somehow together. It's not that all the houses are distributed among the 6 hectares, but it will be around 1 to 2 hectares that are for the housing, and the rest we have nature gardens and so on. Maybe Nini wants to add how it's practiced in other communities.
I also wanted to add practically, because now the land status is agricultural pasture land. And if we want to build the houses which are more than 60 square meter, the land status needs to be changed to the non-agricultural. So that's the first stage, and that's going to take some time and the planning. So that's also just generally the plan for the winter. And as soon as the status of the land is changed, then that plot, which is around 1.5 hectare on the 6.5 hectare, so that one piece of land, which we think mostly that it might be near to the kind of entrance, and that part will be then divided into residential areas. And because like community center is also kind of in the entrance, like when you're entering, like it's just like couple of 100 meters, and then you have like the community house, and I guess the residential area are going to be on the left side. But yeah, this is a lot of like a very fun and nice work to figure it out, I think. And also get to know each other and understand needs, and maybe some people with families and kids might have a bit different needs. So try to talk about this based on consent and discuss it. The planning. I don't know if Sam wants to add anything, because he might have better. Okay.
No, I don't have much to add. It will really, we haven't much thought about how to divide the land yet, so it's all need to figure out.
Well, if not, we can close the meeting. You know how to find us, and we'll be really happy to be in touch. So I hope everyone thinks about it, and in one way or the other, would be nice to work together. Remember that we need the loans.
Yes, please. We'll make a good deal.
Yes, we can negotiate. And again, if you are interested to join us as a resident, it would also be great to get in touch very fast. It will be possible, of course, afterwards too, but now it's a great time.